Show that I run every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Each week, I teach one clear marketing strategy that you can actually use in your business. Everything I share on this show comes with practical tools, downloadables, all inside our brand new space called the Strategy Lab. I'm giving you step-by-step guides, checklists, everything you need to implement every single strategy that I'm sharing here. And you can come and get inside for free with a free 7-day trial, and then come say hi, drop in the comments that you're here with me live. If you're on the replay, give me a hashtag replay, and I will see you in a second. Wow, this is a bit exciting. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Marketing Strategy Show. I'm excited because that was a brand new intro that I was testing, and you never know how things are going to go until you do them live. And so I've done it live and it worked, which is great. So I'm super excited about that. I'm also really excited about today's episode. If you are tuning in for the first time, hello, my name is Cordelia Kate. And if you've been thinking about starting a podcast, but you've been putting it off because it feels complicated, it feels expensive because there's microphones to get and camera equipment and you need to hire a studio, or it just feels like another massive thing to keep up with, then this session is for you, because most people assume that you need studio quality sound, you need loads of fancy equipment, and you need a whole separate workflow just to get a podcast live. And I'm going to be a bit rebellious today, flip that on its head and show you that it doesn't need to take that much work, and you don't need to do it as a dedicated thing that now needs half your life focused on it. In this video, I'm going to show you how the easiest podcast in the world, I'm going to show you how to run the easiest podcast in the world. One way you don't need to record anything new, and you don't need to set up a studio, and you don't need to add another massive content stream to your workload. We're simply going to be turning a video that you've already got, video content that you're already making, into a podcast that people can listen to whilst they're walking, driving, and just getting onto their day-to-day things. And that's what's great about podcast content, by the way, is that your audience are locked in listening generally, unless you are boring them to death and then they're going to change to something else. But they are generally locked in listening more than they would be on any other mode of content. And so it's a really, really cool way to be connecting with your audience. Also, talking of audience, hey Permjeet, I can see Permjeet's watching from YouTube. Good to know that YouTube is working. Also, if you hear any background noise, it is the Christmas holidays here. Merry Christmas, everybody who celebrates Christmas. Happy New Year. And the kids are all home. The baby's home. Obviously, the baby's always home. The dog's going to bark. There's just stuff's going to happen, because let's just keep it real. Mum of 4, work from home business. It's often bonkers around here. But yeah, I hope you had a good one. Let me know. And also, if you're watching this on the replay, drop me a hashtag replay. Let me know that you were here, so that I can have a chat with you in the comments. So back to podcasting then. Let me know as well. Have you got a podcast? Have you been thinking about launching a podcast? Why haven't you launched it yet? And yeah, did that intro kind of hit the nail on the head for you or not? So look, here's what I generally find is that, like I said, people think that they need perfect audio and expensive setups. That's one reason why podcast becomes a nice to have feature rather than something that's happening. There's also the complicated setup. Like, it needs to be exported with specific audio settings or it's going to sound distorted. There's this thing called an RSS feed. What? And then, there's already so much going on. When you want to create a podcast, when you think about it, if you want to create a podcast, it's going to take a year of consistency for you to start seeing traction. That's just the way it is. Same with a lot of things, but generally a year before it starts seeing traction. And actually, that's not surprising then. These stats completely blew me away, because I looked this up and I could not believe this. Check this out. Nearly 47% of all podcasts stop before reaching their 3rd episode. So people go, I'm going to start podcasts, and they get to episode 3 and they've already quit. Like they've already stopped. It's already become unsustainable. Obviously, there could be a plethora of reasons as to why they stop, but that's mad. 47% of all podcasts stop before reaching their third episode. Only about 8% of podcasts make it past 10 episodes. And roughly 80% of podcasts don't survive past first 10 episodes. That is mad. There's a random 12% hiding in there. I don't know what's happened with that, but these are just stats that I've got from research. And then some analysis suggests that the failure rate can be as high as 94 to 99% when looking at shows that just don't hit key milestones. And only around 15% of podcasts listed on major platforms are active. There are a lot of people that have gone, I want to start a podcast, and have just not kept up with it. But do you know what that also means? It is easier than ever to make an impact with a podcast. And I'm telling you, right? I've got 2 podcasts now. One that hasn't been launched yet, which is this one, the Marketing Strategy Show. This is many things. It's a live, it's a YouTube video. It's also a podcast. But also, the Rebellious Business Show, we've been running it's been on Spotify for over a year now, maybe 2 years. And I really do not put much attention into it. Like, the main thing we do with the Rebellious Business Show is show up and engage with people live. And then it just gets repurposed to podcast. And when I looked at Spotify Wrapped, I think I just see, I'll come back to the comments and say, when I looked at Spotify Wrapped, I was blown away to see that we have had an increase in 383%. Bon Jerry, a 383% increase in new audience from last year. How do I change? Oh, there we go. Our show was in the top 30% of videos on Spotify. Now, look, here's the thing. Understand this. We do not spend much time. We don't even edit these episodes. They go onto Spotify unedited. I'm going to teach you how to do this today. The Marketing Strategy Show is getting a bit more polished. But this show that I'm using as an example, one that we've been in the charts with this show. And it has been like really, really easy to do. We're in the top 5 shows for 11 fans. Like, I know that's small numbers, but guys, there are 11 people that are listening to us consistently. That is worth publishing that for. And these little badges that we got, we're a 2025 marathon show. Fans listened to you for longer than 75% of other shows. Your average rating was higher than 75% of other shows. And you received more comments than 94% of other shows. And you know what? That makes us sound fantastic, doesn't it? But I want to be clear with you. I'm showing you this to let you know the bar is lower than you think it is. It is way lower than you think it is. To get in the charts is not hard. To get stats like that is not difficult. Like, you can totally achieve that without doing much work. And that is what I want to show you on today's episode, is how to take video content that you are already creating. I can see Sam, you're here with me live. Hey Sam, Happy New Year. Sam, it was you that highlighted to me the whole Spotify Wrapped. I absolutely freaking love Spotify Wrapped. It's the first time they've done that, I think. I didn't see that last year. And it's so cool to see those stats. I would be none the wiser, like genuinely not a clue, because I'm not logging in and checking that out. It's just not something that I'm looking at. So yeah, thank you for bringing my attention to that. And it's really, really cool to see that. But, I was so surprised when we got in the charts really quickly as well. For me, it was like, wow, the bar is low. So guys, take it from me. It's going to be easier than you think to get a podcast ranking. But regardless of getting it ranking and whatever, the thing I want to show you how to do is how to get video content that you're already creating. So Sam, I know that you are doing TikTok lives. Why can't you publish those TikTok lives onto YouTube as well as a podcast, onto Spotify as a podcast as well? So that's what we're going to talk about today. So look, a podcast doesn't have to be something you start from scratch. It doesn't have to be, custom created content. a whole other arm. Like, it just doesn't need to be that. It's just another way for people to consume the content that you already make, right? And here's the real cool thing. The podcasting is heading towards video. It's always been an audio thing, right? You still think about it and you still associate it with being audio only. And therefore, the audio has mattered, because if you don't have anything to look at and you're only using your ears to consume the content, you get annoyed by bad audio faster than you would do if you were watching, because if you're watching, you've got another sense that's distracting you. So audio has mattered, but it doesn't matter as much anymore, in the sense that we can have average audio if we've got video accompanying it, because it takes away it distracts you from the audio being terrible, right? Obviously, if the audio is really terrible, then that's different. But what I'm talking about with terrible audio is, if you want to live stream like I'm doing now, everything is getting compressed and the audio is not as perfect quality as if I was going to custom create this podcast episode using audio recording stuff that made sure that it didn't get compressed and it was super, what's the word? Like high quality, let's just say, high definition audio. Whereas if you live stream and you're recording at the same time, there is an element of that audio being compressed. And what it does is it reduces the quality of it, because otherwise the video stream would be too heavy for it to work on social, like for it to work on without having them really, really strong internet connection. It would just crash. So it compresses things to make sure that it streams, the quality of the stream is maintained. Now, there are ways around it. You can also record on OBS at the same time. But, that's another program then that I've got open on my computer that could cause the computer to slow down, for instance. So you get to the situation where you're like, well, I need like real state-of-the-art tech to be able to do this well. It's just not the case. Video podcasts are on the rise. Video is now the dominant format, especially on Spotify and YouTube. And when I say dominant format, we know this because all we need to do is look at the big podcast creators and how they're creating podcasts now. Go look at Mel Robbins, Joe Rogan, Diary of a CEO, Stephen Bartlett, and their podcasts are not audio only. They are with video, and they're in studios, and they're high quality studio video that is then turned into a video podcast. Spotify has video podcasting available on it, and YouTube has now taken over Google Podcasts. Google Podcasts is not a thing anymore. If you want to publish a podcast, you do it on YouTube. And so video podcasting is on the rise. There are over 300,000 video podcasts active on Spotify right now. And it is estimated that over 420 million people globally watch video podcasts at least once a month. And YouTube accounts for 81% of all video podcast views worldwide. So it's only going to take YouTube to go, right, this quarter, we are focusing on the podcast area of YouTube, and we're going to really put a lot into that and develop that area for that to mean that, video podcasting is going to go even wilder in terms of it being mainstream and popular. My next prediction is the next thing coming is live podcasting is already happening. We're doing it now. This is a live podcast. Welcome to my live podcast. Live podcasting is already happening, but what we don't have yet is software that has like radio slots for a live show to be scheduled, where people can go tune in on YouTube for a live scheduled show. I don't think that is available yet. If it is, it's new and like fresh on the market. But I assume and we're going to go full circle. We're going to podcast, which was a recorded radio episode that you can listen to on the fly, is going to become live radio before you know it. And it's going to be live video as well. I can just see it happening. So YouTube's role in podcast discovery is and consumption is massive. And it's been incredibly important as a podcast platform. More than 1 billion people watch podcasts on YouTube every month. Which is far outpacing many traditional audio-only platforms. Apple is currently behind. They don't have video on there yet. When I last checked, Spotify does. So that is, really, really exciting for the podcasting world. And the people like me who run live shows, like, yes, this is great. But it also means that you can jump in and capitalize on that, because you're already creating video content that you can now turn into podcast episodes that can just be another way in which your audience consume content. Vicky, hello, my darling. Vicky says the power of podcast is so exciting how it's evolving. Yeah, it is. I agree. Vicky is a podcasting coach, so she knows. Okay, so let me know, are you already creating videos regularly? And are they the kind of videos that you think, could you repurpose them? And, as you're creating them in the future, you can always sort of change your thinking. I'm changing my thinking with these videos and the way that I opened, the way that I introed. It was more like a cold open this week, which means that I gave an insight into what I'm going to cover in the first 10 seconds. And you can always adapt the way you deliver to improve how it comes across on editing. But essentially, have you got anything right now that you could start converting? If you haven't, I did talk about this on week 3, I think. It's inside the strategy lab already. There is a downloadable that you can grab that has a really simple way for you to create, let me just share this for you, a really simple way for you to create video content from essentially just coming up with the questions that your audience are asking. It's week 3. It's the third downloadable inside the strategy lab. Go get that. And that's a really fun, easy, simple way for you to start creating video content without having to put loads of work and time and effort into it. So jump in there and grab that. We're also going to have, I'll leave that up a second longer. I'll pop the link in the chat as well, because I appreciate some of you are watching on your phone and it's like, Cordelia, I'm watching on my phone. I can't scan a QR code with the device I am currently using to watch this video. Fair, I hear you. It is a problem, that. So look, there's the link to the school community. It's $4 a month to come and join us in there. And off the back of every episode, I am creating downloadables for you to follow step by step. So you don't have to come back and watch a video to go through it all, but also you can just see the steps. You can grab my ChatGPT prompts that I use. You can, go through all of it in a nice, simple way that will help you implement every strategy off the back of this show. So everything that we go through today will be on a downloadable inside that community and published by end of today. Okay, so let's jump in then. So what we're going to do then is we're going to do a bit of a tech tutorial on how to use or how to edit a video into a podcast episode. If you're not creating videos yet, that thing that I just shared with you will be a really great way for you to get started with that. Vicky, really recommend you check that out, because I think that it will just be so simple for you to start creating loads of video content. And if you do it regularly, then you're going to be able to get so much out of it. A lot of the episodes that I'm doing at the moment are about repurposing video content. Last week, we did an episode on repurposing video content into a blog. The week before that, we did on repurposing video content into Reels. Next week, I think I'm talking about how to create images on Gemini that are very on brand, that you can then put with some text from your repurposed stuff. And we're doing that in massive repurposing kind of it's repurposing phase. So that if that's helpful, you're welcome. Okay, so what we're going to do then is we're going to pretend that we have recorded a episode and the episode has been downloaded. And when I say recorded an episode, we've recorded a video that we're going to turn into a podcast. Now, I like to use Descript for editing, and there's a very straightforward reason for that. And that is because when you export, what's going on? Oh, yeah. When you export your video and you upload it to a podcast platform, it needs to have very specific audio settings. Now, the audio settings are not available in most video editing softwares. So you can't use Final Cut Pro. I don't know about DaVinci, but I know with Final Cut Pro and iMovie, the audio settings are just not available in terms of exporting with the right audio settings. Descript, you can export with the right audio settings, which is great. And it's just such a lovely editing software to use. I recommend getting the paid version, and it is just like $20 a month. I know these things all add up, but it's just $20 a month. And what it will give you is I'm going to give you my computer is slowing down. I need to get a more powerful computer for live streaming and editing and doing all the things at the same time. I think this is going to have to be a goal. Right, Descript. Let me give you a link to go and grab Descript. I think this link gives you something, like a little bonus of some kind, but I can't remember what it is. We're going to have to wait a second though, because the computer has completely slowed down. Oh, that's annoying. We've got a crash situation. I might have to steal Amos's laptop. Okay, we're back in. It's working again. See, this is why I love Descript. You're going to understand why I love Descript in a minute. Because you're going to see how it helps to edit the stuff. If you're still here and you haven't got bored and dropped off because the computer is slowing down. Otherwise, you can watch on the replay because this will be edited using Descript. Okay, right. There's the link to it. So over on here. Oh, bollocks. I can see on Facebook Live that we are still smooth and that everything's running. It's just on my end that it's getting slow and strange. Okay, we're on. This is Descript. Welcome to Descript. Okay, so what I'm going to just pretend I'm not going to download and upload videos whilst we're live because it's not going to work. But essentially, you need to set up a Descript account and then open a project. Now, I like to edit all of my podcast episodes in the same project. And the reason being is that I have got an intro and outro music, and I have got certain settings with the audio that I only then need to set up once. If I create a new project for every single episode, what I'm going to have to do is set all of that up again, even import the intro and outro music again. So I'm just going to have one project, and then inside the project you can have compositions, and so I've got a different episode on each composition like that. So if we go to episode 1, which was the worst one, because it always is, isn't it? Episode 1, dreadful. Oh, makes me cringe thinking about it. Old episode 1. So what I really love, so if we upload the video into this project, all we need to do is grab the video and then drop it into the project. So if I go on new composition, it looks like that. And then I just drop the video in there, and then it will take a few seconds, maybe a minute, to transcribe that video. And then it will give us the transcription along with the video. And what's really nice is you can edit with the words. So I can go, kudos, but it isn't a strategy. And I can delete that, and it's going to delete it from the video and the transcript at the same time. Okay. I really like that because I can, at the beginning I have intro music sometimes, and I can just go, oh yeah, intro music, da 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 da. Okay, it starts here. Boom, delete all of that. So one thing that I am looking for is an interesting first few seconds. And so I'm going to start by going through the video and editing it to just get rid of the waffle at the front. I reduce a lot of waffle. I waffle far too much. Oh my God, I need to stop waffling so much. I have removed this. This was an hour-long video. I've reduced it down to 20 minutes. 20 minutes. That is wild. But so I will just go through this and I will listen to it. Number one, I want it to start at an interesting point, because that is going to be the hook for getting people interested in listening to the video. So I've started here. Let me just check. Can you hear my computer sound? That would be really, how can I find that out? I click these dots. I don't know. I don't know how to find out if you can hear my computer sound. Let me stop sharing and start sharing again and try that. Entire screen, also share system audio, that one, share. Okay, boom. Right, you will be able to now. So if we just take out the... There is at the bottom here, there is an arrow. If you hover, you can find it and pull that up so you can see the full thing that we've got going on here with the audio and the video. I'm going to delete that a minute. And what I'm listening for is an opening that is going to be interesting.
Often when I ask people, what is your current marketing strategy? What are you doing to get clients?
So that could be the most interesting part, but it's probably not. So I will scan through and find out where that most interesting part is, and then I will just delete the front of it and start it there. Another thing that you can do is when you record these videos, you can get a bit conscious about having a bit of an opening hook. So if we look at episode 4, you can see that I've started with "My name is Cordelia." Amos, my husband, said, "You should always start with 'My name is Cordelia,' because people are going to listen to you and not know who you are. Whereas if you keep telling them what your name is, they'll remember you." I'm like, that's a good point. So yeah, I'm starting with "My name is Cordelia," keeping that in. Not the best hook in the world, but it's a good intro.
My name's Cordelia Kate. I am showing you my repurposing system for how to turn.
So in the first kind of like 10 seconds, you've got what's happening in this episode. I'm showing you my repurposing system for how to turn a simple video into a blog post that you can publish on your website to drive more traffic. If you haven't got a hook thing that you can put at the front, you could put some highlights. So like here's an episode where I've done some highlights instead. So at the beginning, I've just grabbed some hooks from within the text, copied them. So I've gone sort of like highlighted this. Let's say this is a hook I want. I've gone copy, and then I've pasted it up here at the beginning.
I am so busy. I've got 4 children. I've got 2 businesses. I don't have time personally to custom curate loads of video content. My main platform right now, Facebook personal profile. In the last 28 days, my engagement has gone up 4,734%. And all of that is just from doing what I am sharing with you today.
And then it goes into the and then it goes into the episode. So you want to think about that initial hook, but notice that beat, by the way, at the beginning. Dun, 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 dun. That is my opening for the episode. Keeping things simple. If you are creating a podcast episode from some repurposed stuff, personally, I hate listening to the first 10, 30, 45, sometimes minute and a half of guff at the beginning of every episode of a podcast. Like, my priority here is I want my audience to consume my content. So if I've got an intro that's like, "Hi, my name's Cordelia Kate and this is the Marketing Strategy Show. Welcome. On this episode, I will be teaching you another marketing strategy because that's what I do here on the Marketing Strategy Show, blah, 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 blah." Like, if I do that at the beginning of every episode, it's like, oh, I've got to fast forward and skip all of that to get, like, how much do I want to listen to that episode that I am prepared to skip through all the guff? And so I like to just start it from scratch. And I got this idea from Diary of a CEO. He does that, just a beat at the beginning, and he gets into it. And he has a cold open where he has highlights of what's coming up. And now these days he has an ad, and then it starts. So you're still a while before you get in, but you already know straight from the off what I'm getting from this specific episode. You're already hooked in. Yeah. So you want to have a hook, and you either, a couple of options for you there, create one by just cutting to the most interesting part of the video and delete all the guff at the top, or make one with a cold open by actually determining and deciding what you're going to say when you hit record and get that intro into, like, what is this episode about? Or creating a cold open by grabbing some highlights from the text and shoving them at the top, and then going into the episode from there. Now, in terms of this intro and outro music, just to make this super easy, I'm going to show you how we create this. Now, I like to, if I've got Epidemic Sound open, no, that would be, I'm going to go grab it. If I go onto here, ignore that, but just bear with. I'm just going to grab this. going to bring you over to Epidemic Sound. Epidemic Sound is awesome. There is one little trap with Epidemic Sound, is that if you want to use their tracks, you have to be with them forever. If you cancel your subscription with Epidemic Sound, you also lose the copyright licensing. So get your royalty-free music from wherever you want. I've always used Epidemic Sound. I love it. One of the things I really love is the ability to pick stems. And I'm going to just show you now how I get that intro beat into the podcast episode. Now, I want to keep it really simple. I have the intro beat at the beginning and at the end, so that audially, you know, the podcast episode is starting and the podcast episode is finishing. That is important because I do not start with a nice rounded intro and a nice rounded outro. It's literally just the content. And so the beat gives it a bookmark for beginning and end, which I find helpful because you know you're at the beginning and you know you're at the end. Now, this is my song. I've got the instrumental version of it. Yeah. Recognize that? So, but what I've done is I've gone into the stems and I've turned off everything so that we just have, oh, it's not letting me do that now. What? Reset. No, refresh the page then. Why? Play. And that is my opening beat. Now, to make things really easy, what I'm going to do is just download that bass stem. So my point of telling you that is when you're listening to music, you may really love a track, but you're like, oh, I don't like the singing. It's too much. Or like the whole thing together, it's too much. So is there a stem that you can grab? And for this, the bass stem was just perfect. If I selected the instruments stem, I love this. It's so much fun. And we could bring in the bass. I just think it's so much better. It's just so much cleaner without all those other bits. So I'm going to download I'm going to go to download the specific stem that I want is the bass stem. MP3 format is fine. Hit download, and then that is arriving into a computer, and we're going to upload that into here. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new composition, and I've already done this, so I'm just going to show you how to do it basically. But I'm going to create these audio files, so that I can just use them over and over again without having to fade in and fade out every time. So here is the audio file coming in, and I'm probably going to want, let's say you decide to have 6 seconds of intro, get the blade by hitting B and then cut it there. And then you can, have I cut it again? Control Z if you mess up. Press A, gets rid of the blade. Select it, delete it. And then we can get this and we can go to properties. No, we can't. Let's do it from here. I think we can do it from here. Let's just listen to it for a second. When's the beat beginning? Okay. So we want to start it from when the beat begins. Is that the beginning? Okay, there. Get my blade. Sorry, it's on the bottom left-hand corner of another screen, so you're getting a very weird side profile of me right now. Okay, so now we're at 9 seconds, so we can bring that down to 6. Where is the thingy? What's it? Amos says thingy what's it instead of thingy ma what's it, and I love it so much. I can't stop saying thingy what's it. It's like my new word, which is really annoying because no one ever knows what I'm talking about. Okay, so then what we're going to do is we want to fade that out. Now, I actually, when I first did this, believe it or not, I did this in Final Cut Pro. and then I imported it into here because it's taken me a while to like figure out how the flipping hell to use this thing. But now I have to tell you, it's got so much better. Let me know if you use Descript because it is amazing. The AI stuff in here now is so cool, and it's just got so much easier to use. My point is that I'm going to fade this track out and then export it, and then I'm going to import it, and then I've got one here that I've already made. If I go to project, I've saved it as intro, and you can see it's like this. And what it's going to do is fade. So then that is always the same. It's uniform. You only have to make it once and you never have to make it again. You'll be like me, forgotten how you made it. Can't possibly explain to someone how to make it. And then I've got one called outro, which is exactly the same, but it's the end of the track and it fades. It gets louder rather than gets quieter. So it fades in. And that's it, basically. It fades in and then it's on that final beat. And so what I do is when I edit the podcast, I get out all the fluff. I have a good hook and all the rest of it. Get out all the fluff, take out any bits that I don't want. And then I add on that intro at the beginning by just searching intro, drag that, pop it up here so it starts on the first word, and there it is. And now it will start like that.
Often when I ask people, what is your current marketing strategy?
And boom, that's it. That is all I do. That is literally it. Now I'm going to show you a couple of tips with Descript because it's so cool what you can do with it. And it's just brilliant. It really, really is. A couple of things that I'm doing. Number one, I'm quite waffly and I say like all the time. I don't even know I'm aware of it. I'm not aware of it, I mean, until I go to edit a video and then I realize how much I say like, how much I say right, and all these things. I'm just so trying to stop doing it. So you can come into AI tools. Oh, go away. Come into AI tools and go edit for clarity, remove filler words, and you can choose which filler words you want to remove. So I can remove all the ums. And all of those ums, I can avoid harsh cuts. But actually, the harsh cuts isn't actually a problem because once it's removed them all, you can see where the cuts are. We've got a line here. So kudos. Let's see what that sounds like.
So kudos.
That sounds fine. Let's say I'm going to get rid of the word gonna and I've got a cut here.
Actually get us.
That's a bit choppy, right? I don't mind choppy. I think it's cool. I love watching a choppy video. But if you want a smooth transition, you can, especially if it's cut out half the word, you can regenerate the edit. You click on that, and what it does is it makes that sound so much smoother. What I discovered yesterday as well is that you can create a voice profile. So I don't know if you've ever done this, but I often listen back to myself speaking and I've said completely the wrong word. Like I meant to say ChatGPT and I said Descript, for example. And I'm like, oh, damn it. That now makes no sense. I'm going to confuse the listener. And you can literally get it to change the word and do it in your voice. I'll show you how to do that in a sec, but let's just listen to how this sounds.
Leveraged and is actually get us results.
Now, it's a bit ropey because there's a word that I've taken out that makes the sentence sound smooth, which is the word gonna. And without gonna, it doesn't really work. But you kind of get my drift. Also, I have got the wrong speaker here. So if I change it to Cordelia 2, this is my AI Cordelia. And it's a voice profile that I've set up within Descript. So if I go here and I regenerate, it's going to probably do it in my actual voice and make it sound a lot smoother because of that. And that's how you do it in terms of change. Let's say whilst that's doing that, let's say it's really hard to do that. I say, oh, damn it. I was supposed to say it's really easy to do that. I can click on the word hard and I can go regenerate and I can say easy, get it to regenerate the video as well. God knows what that's going to be like. Oh, running out of AI credits here. Okay, fine. No video. just the word easy. That's not going to work. If I was sharing screen, it would be really easy for me to just dub that over, but it's just going to give a black space. But let's do it anyway. I'll use my last AI credit to show you what it's like. Let's have a look.
Leveraged and is actually get us result.
That was my voice, right? And so using the little AI tools is so cool because it enables you to do things. There's other things as well, like you can add in GIFs and all kinds of stuff straight from within here. So for instance, we've got where is it? Oh, no, it's because I'm in the AI tools. But if we go to elements, I think it's elements, we can add things in like text and whatever, lines, bars, but there's GIFs. Where are the GIFs gone? Oh, media, obviously media. So they've got loads of stock video that you can use. There's also Giphy attached in here, and you can input loads of silly things, and you can ask it to find you GIFs. Like you've got this Underlord here, and you can say Underlord. I love that it's called Underlord. That is totally my thing. You can say apply zooms and cuts, which is where it sort of like zooms in and zooms out and makes it a bit choppier. And makes it interesting to watch, right? You can go find me 5 places in my video where I can add some GIFs that would be for an entertainment factor. I tried that yesterday and it put a video of me and Caroline laughing. It was like really random. I was like, what? It doesn't work. But yeah, so, you have to play around with it, but there's so much that you can do with it. Now we've got this Underlord in here. I love that it's called the Underlord. So anyway, here we go. It's really
easy to do that.
Oh my God, it didn't even look. Remember that sentence said it's really hard to do that. Watch my face.
It's really easy to do that. So
it says hard. You can see that I'm saying hard, but no one's going to notice that. It's just one slight tweak. So that is really flipping cool. I absolutely love this platform for that. So, okay, we're happy with our episode. We're ready to go. What we're going to do is we are going to export it. And we're going to export it as video because it is video content. Okay, we're creating video podcasts. So we're going to export it as that. You want to screenshot this now and grab these audio settings. They're going to be inside the downloadable for you inside the school community. So come and get involved in the school community. The link is in the chat. You can come and join us in there. But otherwise, grab this. This is what you want to output at. And this is what took me hours. When I first launched the podcast and I was editing all these videos and putting them onto Spotify, it was taking me ages because I couldn't figure out how to get it onto Spotify without the sound being completely distorted. And I realized it was because I was editing it and exporting it with the wrong settings. I didn't have those settings available to me in iMovie and I needed to use something else. And so that is literally 10 hours of me going around the houses trying to find that out for you right here. That should hopefully give you a bit of a shortcut. So that's editing the episode. There's so much more I could show you about Descript, but I'm going to keep it simple because really we don't want this to be a big editing job. We want to just put an intro beat on it, an outro beat on it, export it, put it into Spotify, happy days. Now, when I say put it into Spotify, I really like let me just show you this. I really like Spotify for creators. You want to go to creators.spotify.com. And all you need is a Spotify account. Now, you can have a free Spotify account. You don't have to have a paid Spotify account. And this software is free to use. You do not need to pay for this. So that's one of the reasons why I use it. But the other reason why I use it is because it supports video podcasting. And a lot of the podcast channels haven't done. Haven't looked into it lately because I'm so happy with this. I just use this all the time. However, when it was sending video podcasts through to YouTube, it was sending them through as audio only. So I natively upload to YouTube because I want to custom create a lot of stuff on YouTube for YouTube. It's a whole different strategy. So I'm not using this to push to YouTube for the marketing strategy show, which isn't on Spotify yet. It is launching in January on Spotify. We're just getting the drafts in here and getting it set up and ready to go because it's a good idea to launch with at least 3 episodes published so that you've got a bit of binge listening available to your listeners. So which is crazy, isn't it? Considering most people don't get to 3 episodes. Are people not using that as a strategy? So what you're going to do is, I think I've got incognito mode here ready to go. I do. Let me bring this over. Bear with. God, it's like live demos are quite tricky. I'm going to give myself a tall order getting all this done. What's great about it, what's great about it is that I can edit all the guff out with Descript really easily. Okay, so if you haven't got a Spotify account set up yet, because a lot of people don't use Spotify, believe it or not. I love Spotify, it's my favorite thing. So if you have Spotify already, you'll just basically enter the email address that you use for Spotify. If you don't have Spotify set up yet, as you can see, I've got a temporary email address here ready to go. If you haven't used this before, temp-mail.org, really good little free tool for getting temporary email addresses for doing things like this, doing a demo. But look, you'll see what will happen is it will say, oops, we don't have this Spotify account. We don't have this email with a Spotify account. That's why that's happened. So if we go to sign up, you'll basically put an email address in, sign up for a Spotify account. And then once you've done that, go back to Spotify for podcasters. Just Google Spotify for podcasters, which is here, creators.spotify. And you'll have something that looks a little bit like, have I got, no, I want like new show. Hang on. Bummer. Your shows, settings, new episode. Where's new show? Here we go. New show. Add new show. Here we go. This is what it will look like. So you'll go to create a new show and follow the settings, and what it will do is it will set up the RSS feed for you. You'll say where you want to connect it to. You'll connect it to Apple. You'll connect it to YouTube if you want to, and connect it to all the usual podcast places. And yeah, Sam, you're right. This used to be called Anchor. Spotify bought it and it's now part of Spotify. So yeah. So you'll set all of that up. And then once you've set it up, what you'll have is something that looks a little bit like this. Marketing strategy show. And if we go to the homepage of it, it'll give you kind of a checklist of things to do. So under episodes, you can click on new episode if you haven't got any episodes yet, and you'll be able to create one. And then it will look like this, where you've got episodes here. And we've got essentially all we've done is put in the video, uploaded the file, which is a video, and then given it a title, a description, thumbnail, which is the thumbnail of the video, not the thumbnail of the podcast. The thumbnail of the podcast is this. I have got a Canva template for that's got my podcast cover photos on that's going to be in today's downloadable that you can grab. And yes, if that's helpful. And then basically you can add in things for every specific episode. So you can change the episode art for each episode. You can add in polls. You can ask for specific questions. There's various things you do. I don't do anything fancy. I just put a title in, I just put the description in, and I just leave the thumbnail with me looking slightly deranged and then publish it. And that's it, job done. I've been doing that for over a year and not putting that much thought and effort into it otherwise, and we've done well off of the back of the podcast. Like if I was to focus on it more, we'd do even better, but it's just one arm, so it's not a main stream for us. Now, in terms of this, what I really love is I love things to be systemized. If they're systemized, we can keep up with them. The reason why people struggle to keep up with content creation is because there isn't a system for it. And what that means is that there isn't a system for it. And what that means is that every week you've got loads of work you need to do to produce the next thing. So with a podcast, you've got to obviously edit that content, and then you need to upload it, and you need to create a description for it, and you need to do all the things. You want to have these steps written down in an SOP, and you want to keep it super simple. So instead of going to Google and searching for podcasters for Spotify or whatever it's bloody called, and having that as a step that you do every single time, just have the link to it in your SOP. You just click on it and it takes you straight there. Instead of creating a new caption each time to go with that podcast episode. You just want to use the same ChatGPT prompt every single time. You've got the call to action already sorted out. You've got these things there and they're ready to go, and it's just simple. And then it's just bam, 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 bam. So in terms of Descript, what Descript gives you is it gives you that really lovely transcript. Where is it gone? Sorry for giving you a headache going through all these things. So we can copy this transcript and we can just come over to ChatGPT and drop it in here. And then if I look on my notes, which I create notes for these episodes and then never look at them again. Let me go and grab I've got a prompt here that I'm going to get for you on a different screen. It's very long. All of my prompts are really long. So I will include it inside today's downloadable so that you can just use it. And it's going to create it's going to create an output that we can use for the podcast description. Posting on social media isn't a marketing strategy, it's a visibility habit. And if you're relying on it bringing clients, you're basically hoping the algorithm feels generous this week. I love that so much. Okay, so this is this is how I've asked it to create that, and then paste CTAs here exactly as written. Let me just see what's in this prompt, because that's not really what it was supposed to do, but I don't think it... okay. Right, let's go get the CTA and drop that in. Woo! Sorry. Here we go. Here's the CTAs. CTA, by the way, means call to action. So you want to be thinking about where are people clicking on from this podcast? Where do I want to take them to next? Where's the next step in the pipeline towards working with me, towards becoming a client, towards whatever? Oh, hang on. Paste CTAs here. Boom. Done. Happy days. Right, that should now give me, because I'm using the template that I've created for you guys. But anyway, so there we go. Now I've got this. I'm going to grab that and I'm going to come into the podcasting for Spotify thingy, what's it? And I would paste it there. Bit scared to do that in case I go and mess up Maria's amazing work. Now, what I'm going to do here is check the spacing and just make sure that this flipping massive gap that you could get a bus in isn't so big. And then come down and make sure that we get rid of this word episode framing, because why would you want that in there? It also makes me wonder, do we need to just try that again? No, why is episode framing at the bottom? That makes no sense. Why would they put episode? Why is it pasted like that? We've got some weird formatting thing going on here. Huh? Okay. Well, we don't want it anyway, so that's fine. I don't know why it's at the bottom. That makes no sense to me whatsoever. Fine. It doesn't matter though, because we were just going to delete it and nothing else is in the wrong order. So that's all good. Highlight 3, 2, 1. Yeah, that's all good. So once we've done that, we also want to decide on a title, and then it's just literally a case of hitting next and then publishing. I'm going to stage exit left out of this so that I don't go and mess anything up. No, oh shit. Okay, well, I've messed it up, so I have to go and put it back. But there we go. That is essentially what you want to be doing, is to be editing and putting it in there. And like I said, that prompt is going to be in the downloadable for today. I'm just checking my notes to see what now. So every time you create a video, just know that that video can become a podcast episode. All you need to do is a light edit job, and then put a beat at the front, a beat at the end, and you just need to upload it. And if you look at some of the big creators like Gary Vaynerchuk, he's someone that's just creating content on the fly all the time. And this is what he does. He goes and talks somewhere, he records himself talking, and he publishes it to podcast. And the audio isn't amazing. It sounds quite echoey on some of his episodes, but he gets a lot of downloads and a lot of listens. And it's not about having the perfect content that people are loving and it's getting, 100% listener time. It's about showing up regularly. It's about having ways and means in which people can connect with you and connect with your content, and showing up on a regular basis in lots of different places so that people are building a relationship with you and your business and your brand, so that when it comes to them wanting to solve their problem that you are the expert in, you're the person that they're thinking of because you are present and showing up. Instead of just going live on Facebook and that's that, what else could you do with that Facebook Live? How could you turn that into a YouTube video, into a blog post, into a podcast episode? I really want you to be thinking about getting the absolute most out of the content you're already creating without having to go out and create more, because really and truly, we don't have much time available to us to just go and custom curate reels, custom curate blogs, custom curate YouTube videos. These things, if you want to do them well and you want to have strategy behind them, they take time. So my recommendation to you will be, have a king of things. Have one stream of content that is video content, because that connects the most, and focus on that as your main piece of content. And then just off the back of that, use it to get everything else that you need. And if you want to have a conversation about creating a highly leveraged content system, this is something new that I'm doing for 2026. Just DM me and say, Cordelia, can we chat about a content system for my business? We have a look at what is it that you're currently doing that we can already leverage. Where are your pockets of audience that we can tap into now? And what can we then set up that leverages that, turns it into a system, creates SOPs that we can just hand over to an assistant who can then be running those bits for you. So you just need to turn up, deliver the content, and everything else is done off the back of that, from that one piece of content. If that sounds like something that you're interested in talking to me about and getting some support with on for 2026, then hit me up, because that's something that I'm doing. Anyway, there we have it. I hope that helps. Let me know what your questions are if you have any. And next week, we are going to be looking at how to create images on Gemini that are on brand. And I don't mean pictures of you, I mean just graphics that you can use to put out posts, to promote upcoming live episodes of things, that just going to save you like 10 hours of Canva twiddling. It's Canva twiddling replacement therapy next week on the show. So come along to that. In the meantime, I hope to see you in the school community. Like I say, the PDF and downloadables will be there, and in the strategy store by close of play today. And if this helped you see a simpler way to do a podcast, please drop a comment. Tell me what you're going to repurpose first, and give us a plug. Show me where your content lives. Feel free to share what it is that you're doing with your video content. Give yourself a plug and drop a link to where we can go and find out more about you and what you're doing. And to everyone here with me on the live, thank you so much for watching along. Hey Permdeet, hey Sam. I can see you guys have been here pretty much the whole way through, which is lovely. And to everyone else, let me know if you're here on the replay. Drop me a hashtag replay. And if you've got any questions, drop them. I will be following up and getting them answered. Lots of love. Happy New Year. I hope you have so much fun celebrating with your friends and family. And we're going to be back in full swing next week at Rebellious as well, with networking back on. We've got the NABA Client Challenge happening again, and we're going to be in full swing of things as of next week. So lots of love. Speak to you soon, and